What's up, kids? Weekly word.
To the weekly
Really,
word.
we just want to talk.
What's the weekly word?
Rutabaga.
Rutabaga. Can't pronounce it. Okay. Addicts. If you've watched our Legend of Korra Dragon Age talk,
You know that Andrew lives in an attic.
Yeah, and Dragon Age saved my life. I actually, when I did,
Some
funnily
deep
enough,
shit, man. Some deep shit.
when applying for the beta for Dragon Age Keep, the thing that
The Facebook game?
no, it's not the Facebook game. It's the thing that kind of transfers your story over. They did a beta thing to test it.
Okay.
And I was like, I really want to be a part of this and they're like, why would you be a good
this
beta tester?
The BioWare laundry list of
Yeah,
checkboxes?
fucking story tree.
God.
And so it's like, why should you be a part of this? Why was Dragon Age just been a part of your life? And I was like, it saved my
Listen,
life.
man.
I didn't die because of Dragon Age. No,
Alright, hold on.
yeah, you want to pull a little closer?
Welcome to my face.
So yeah, but I didn't get in.
What?
Wah.
Why would you tell me that story? That sucks.
It's okay. Life moves on.
It's true.
Yeah. But anyway, so what were we talking about? I don't remember. So yeah, it's the weekly word. We're going to talk about our lives for a bit. What have you been up to? You just got back from Germany.
I did.
So what was that?
So I got sent to a workshop on accelerator operations.
Mm-hmm.
It was maybe 200 people. We were in a small town in Germany called Mainz, which is just outside of Frankfurt.
Okay.
And
That's where your thing was, right?
No.
Okay. Leipzig. All right,
Oh.
whatever. It's all the same. It's a country.
So yeah, Mainz is super old, small, villagey,
With a bunch of scientists.
old town.
Mm-hmm.
So, castles and churches and narrow streets and cobblestones and all that bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the buildings in the square have basically been gutted on the inside and replaced with expensive ass boutiques.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, still with the
Old outside.
Yeah, so that was pretty awesome.
Did a lot of people speak English? Did you have trouble getting around not speaking German?
No, not really.
Really?
Everyone spoke English
Mm-hmm.
to varying degrees. I would, lead with German. Say a hello. Do you speak English? Maybe try and ask for a beer
Directions
or whatever.
Yeah. Beer me.
Yeah. Eine Bier, bitte.
Yeah. Were you there during Oktoberfest, or had that ended
No.
already?
Oktoberfest is the end of September. It's
End of September. Okay.
ringing in October.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, but I got some good beer anyway.
Actually, speaking of beer, do you want to tell me about what you did with the microbrew that you were mentioning before, and tell them about it?
Yes, I got one thing to say first.
Yeah.
My one German word that I bring back to you and everyone is Dunkelweiss.
What's Dunkelweiss?
Okay, so
Man, do you speak German? What does Dunkelweiss mean?
Dunkelweiss is.
Okay, let's learn this. Everyone, the new weekly word is Dunkelweiss.
Oh, Dunkelweiss. Let me tell you. So Weissbier is wheat beer.
Okay.
Like Blue Moon or whatever.
Okay.
So usually Weissbier tends to be real light, kind of springy, summery. Have kind of a sweet taste, maybe like a banana aftertaste.
Okay.
So Dunkel is dark. So
Dark wheat
Dunkelweiss
beer?
is dark wheat beer.
Okay.
And it kind of has that cloudy feel, really light texture, but kind of roasty, kind of sweet. It's the most flavorful fucking thing.
Really?
And I really like it, and I had quite a bit of it because over there it's cheaper than goddamn water. A half liter of good beer.
You can buy a liter of beer?
They serve them in half liter mugs.
Oh,
Not
that's
steins,
awesome.
but big ass
Big
mugs.
Okay.
Was €2.5, €3.
Wow.
So
It's like $5.
$4.
Oh, okay, not even. Wow.
$4 for a big beer. And then I got Wiener Schnitzel and Spätzle and all this good stuff.
Sounds like words to me. I don't know what
Yeah.
those. It sounds like I just know
So
toaster strudel, and I just assume it's like that.
So Schnitzel
Yeah.
is a pork cutlet, basically.
Oh, so I thought it was like a pastry.
Nope.
Oh, so it's meat.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, like a chicken cutlet that's all breaded and super awesome. It's pork
Oh,
cutlet.
it's pork. Okay.
Kind of thin and real good. Spice. Very nice. And
Okay.
Spätzle is kind of like noodles, but not pulled into noodles. They're just little clumps of noodle.
Gnocchi?
Similar, except not even tried to shape.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
Yeah, it was good.
We missed you when we were doing. I don't know if anyone is a fan of the Naruto videos we do.
Aw.
But that was the penultimate well, not penultimate, but like the last week before, we were like, man, like I wish, because Matt's gone and like you were gone, and it's like, man, but we were really excited.
I watched your guys' video.
What'd you think? It wasn't as good as I thought.
It was fine. It was fine. It got weird and dark at the end. That was fun.
Did it? I don't remember the end.
When you guys talked about trying coke just once.
Well, I mean, I forgot about that.
So that was fun. Yeah, I actually read that chapter like on my shitty ass fucking Wi-Fi. The guest house that we stayed in.
Yeah, how's the internet over there?
For hosting a physics conference, that place was
not that great.
No, the place was great. Their Wi-Fi was abysmal.
I feel like that's a European thing.
Saturated the fuck out of it. It did not work.
I remember when I went over to England when I was younger. They had like one computer and like this like fucking like bed and breakfast thing we were staying at, and they're like, you have to pay for like 15 minutes of internet, and it's like dial up. Yeah. And I'm like, and like it didn't feel like a third world country, but in my mind, like, or in my heart, like I felt like I was in like not Iraq, but maybe like Depression era Greece.
I've been to third world countries that have way better fucking internet than what I was in this time around.
You wonder if it's like, do you think people come over here and like, oh my god, the information's just like flowing? Or almost like when people from here go to South Korea and then they're like, gigabytes on my phone?
Honestly, like, compared to developed nations, the U.S., for what you're paying for it, has pretty crap infrastructure.
Welcome to monopolies. Well, not monopolies, technically not. Oligarchies. Did anyone find out, did they pass that whole the reclassification thing? I knew that was like coming out, but
I don't know.
Yeah. Welcome. I don't know. I really hope they did. I like my free internet.
You have free internet?
No, like my free, not censored internet. And it even is. It's still censored. But
well, you're talking about the net neutrality thing.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see how that goes.
Basically being sorted by tiers of who's paying, who isn't, which sites are allotted faster bandwidth
to succeed. Yeah.
To actually get anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So let's not get political.
Let's not talk about money.
Yeah. But I do want to talk about what I did this week. Okay. If that's okay, unless you have more stuff to talk about.
I just want to talk about my microbrewer.
Do it.
I made
some beer.
I made 5 gallons of an apple beer, not made out of apples. It's beer with apples steeped in it, so it gets kind of an appley taste.
Almost like hard cider.
It's not made out of apples.
Okay. It's not. It's
just with apples like soaked in the end, so it just kind of gets that flavor.
Oh, it gets the flavor, but not actually. Okay.
Yeah, it's a lager.
Okay.
I thought I fucked it up because when I was bottling it, I tried a little bit of it and it had this weird like rubbing alcohol taste at the end, and I almost threw it out, but I couldn't bring myself to do that because I made it.
Some Everclear in there by accident.
It's 5 gallons.
5 gallons. It's like you can't just dump that on the street.
I can't waste 5 gallons of beer. Come on, who the fuck am I?
Yeah.
So I decided, I'm not going to share this with anyone because it's not good and I don't want to give people cruddy stuff. But I will muscle through it myself and I will just suffer through it. And then, 3 weeks after bottling it, I tried one and I was like, wow, this is really good. So apparently I have something that turned out okay. So now I can start sharing. But I already bought ingredients and I'm getting ready to make another 5 gallons of it without screwing it up.
Nice.
Yeah, I know what I can do better this time.
Well, this is the thing.
I let it ferment too warm.
Okay. So you learned, and then you're going to improve, and eventually you're going to create, like, the new Anheuser-Busch monopoly of, like, fucking microbrews.
And no, I'll be the guy
who's
who
making microbrews.
Does, 5 gallons every month or so, and has, a bunch of bottles of beer hanging around, and then John drinks them all.
Well, you know what, but I think it's so cool that you have a hobby that's, like, creative in, like, that way, because it's like not like some people paint, some people play instruments, like John.
Yeah.
But you're like, you know what I'm gonna do with my time? I'm gonna make beer. Like, it's just such a weird, like, it's such a not, like, first thought thing.
It's chemistry, it's cooking, it's, like, being creative and just kind of messing around and, like, iteration.
You're gonna be a really valuable asset in the apocalypse. You know that?
Cool.
Like, no, because it's like, hey, you know how to make beer? Nope. You're gonna kill yourself doing it? Probably. You're gonna keep us safe, and you're gonna make us a fortune.
Like, I don't drink a whole hell of a lot. I like beer.
Well, you're like, that's why you're a good drug dealer, because you never get high.
Because I don't smash my own stash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just cut a little bit for yourself on the side.
No, but just like making something like that, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I like when it turns out well,
mm-hmm.
and for that like month or however many weeks 50 bottles of beer lasts, my house doesn't need to buy beer.
You're like, hey, I'm saving money at this point.
Yeah. No, especially now that I switched to like doing all grain instead of like buying extract.
Mm-hmm.
I'm spending like half as much per batch. So good.
I just found it so fascinating. It's like, yeah, now that I switched over to grain, like it's such a weird thing. It's like something to be excited about.
Anyways,
no,
and that concludes beer talk with Reid.
No, but that's awesome that you do that. Like, honestly, if people like, if you're like thinking like, I have so much free time in my hands, it's like, have a creative hobby. Don't just jerk off. Like, I mean, do that.
Definitely do that.
Do that.
But
Do
just.
you? But like, also have
Literally.
something that but also have something that you're gonna add something to either your own life or maybe the life of a friend. Your friend drinks a lot of your beer. Add to his alcoholism.
Speaking of which, now that it doesn't suck, I got a couple of big bottles of that for you.
What? Oh yeah, I would love some
stuff.
of that. I would actually, if I can have some, that'd be awesome.
That's what I'm saying.
Woo! So that's cool, and actually that kind of like ties into what I wanted to talk about. If that's
Yeah.
okay. So I mentioned to you that NaNoWriMo is going on this month, and for anyone that doesn't know that's a novel in the month of November, where you are given
National Novel Writers Month.
Yeah,
NaNoWriMo.
Yeah. So it's basically you're given a task of writing a 50,000 word piece in a month, which may not sound well. It sounds a lot like in that.
That sounds fucking impressive to me.
Well, it is.
I mean,
It's very hard.
You can write 50,000 words. To make them actually good words that flow together and have a narrative structure that doesn't suck is a huge undertaking.
Well, that's the thing. And I actually tried this last year and I failed. I got there like 20,000 words and I was like, well, what happened? And I was like trying to like, it's almost kind of like when you're like, oh, I messed up this beer, what do I do next time?
Yeah, it's
like,
iteration.
what happened here? And it's like, I was putting too much time into, I was rewriting a lot of it. I was like looking at it too much. And I was like, and I realized it's like, this month is not for writing the 50,000 words that are in a publishable novel. They're 50,000 words that you write and then write the rest of the words to finish the novel and then spend a lot of time revising. Because like I would like
tearing stuff out.
Yeah,
replacing it, editing.
Someone was saying like actually Brandon Sanderson, we've talked about Brandon Sanderson so many times.
Oh hell yeah.
But he's like a lot of my friends that are like published authors aren't amazing. No, let me say they're good writers, but they're really good revisers. And like it's part of the process that no one ever really thinks of. It's like that your book, you can't just like, here's the thing, it's like you do like 100,000 words, it's like it's not ready. Like it's a step, it's like the funnest step, but it's only like maybe 10%, 20% of the whole job. And it's
laying out that framework.
It's getting it on the page and then fixing it later. Because you just need the momentum. So but weirdly enough, so
if you learned that from doing it last year, then that's awesome. That's time well spent.
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm doing it this year, and but weirdly enough, I don't know if I told you this, but remember when I went to Comic-Con and I went to go see Brandon Sanderson on the panel?
Yeah.
Did I tell you about the people I met there?
No.
Oh, well, so I met, like, I was on the front of the line because, like, of course I'm going to be on the front of the line. I waited, like, 2 hours to be on the front of the line.
Fucking A.
But I met, there was this woman and her son who had broken his leg sitting at the front because, kid broke his leg. They're not going to make him wait on the line. And we're just talking. It's like, oh, yeah, he loves the books. And, like, we were just talking. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And so I come to, like, this write-in thing where basically people in your local area meet up to write. Like, we went to, like, a Panera Bread. And I sit down at a table, and I'm, like, looking at this lady. And I'm like, oh, can I sit here? So, yeah. I'm like, I know her. How do I know her? And
From
it's...
the Brandon Sanderson.
I know her because she's the mom of the kid for Brandon Sanderson. I look over to my left, and that kid is writing. And I'm like, that's fucking awesome. That, like, this kid is, like, 14 years old and, like, trying to, like, do something like that. I'm like, I wish I did something like that at 14. All I did was, like, jerk off. Like, where would I be now if I didn't just waste all my time jerking off?
Play Final Fantasy X.
Exactly. But, I mean, like, that's really cool. And I think that's, like, and it's cool to see a group of people all trying to complete something like that. And also, like...
Yeah.
Egging each other on, where it's like, oh, we're gonna do like word sprints where you write like for 30 minutes straight, and whenever it's like the best word count gets like a sticker, because
we're all everyone chips in and buys them a coffee.
Yeah, coffee. So like it's cool to see. And I wish it went on longer than November, but you know, who knows?
I mean, you certainly can.
I know exactly. Well, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like the whole point is like you do it and then don't stop.
Yeah,
like,
it's an event.
Yeah, it's an event.
You know, to inspire and get you started.
So, Cosmo.
Similar to your story about, you know, the whole Comic-Con Brandon Sanderson thing.
Yeah.
Did I tell you that like right afterwards and right after you got me that book, I mentioned something about Comic-Con and an author to, you know, a buddy of mine at work. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Oh, what author?" And I said, "Brandon Sanderson," and he just lights up and he's like, "You read fucking Brandon?" I love Brandon Sanderson. So we start talking about, the whole Stormlight, yada yada, and I send him that picture of, you know, the signed book. I just, you know, text him at like 2 a.m. when he's on night shift and I'm not, because I know he's working. I know he's up.
He's up. He's around.
And he just texts me back, "I want to fight your beard." Good.
Yeah, those books are so. He did a class at BYU, Brigham Young University, and he like talked about his advances for those books, and like the amount of money is just
staggering.
Yeah, well, to hear where he started and where he ended up. So basically, he's like, every book I've written has basically doubled my advance. Whoa. So like he's like I started like
exponential curve.
So I started off with Elantris and the first Mistborn novel, and I sold that for 10,000, I think each. And he's like, then my next book was like 20. The next book was 40, and like so then you hear like, first off, the Steelheart trilogy he's doing is $330,000 a book.
Booyah!
For $1 million for 3 books, and then.
The Stormlight Archive is supposed to be like
Stormlight Archive. No, the Stormlight Archive.
It's supposed to be like 10 books, right?
Oh, it's supposed to be 10 books. But hear how his fucking contract works.
All right,
this is all. He's just looking. It's all public knowledge, so it's like not a weird.
And I'm not weird.
Don't do that. Just rub his belly. This is all public knowledge, so he was talking about it. Yeah, it's fine. He was saying that his book. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was 250,000. Per book, with a sliding scale. If he makes the bestsellers list, it gets another 250,000.
Yes.
So he's like, we think it's worth 500,000, but it's hard to put $500,000 out on an unknown, because it was right after he wrote Wheel of Time, and they're like, oh, well, we don't know what your success is going to be like after Wheel of Time, so we're building this escalator that if you get on the bestseller list, we'll give you another $250,000.
Yeah, we don't know how you finishing this big fucking best-selling epic fantasy series is going to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the guy's doing well for an author. Like, and here's the thing: a lot of people are gonna be like, "That's amazing, that's so cool." Like, you also have to realize that very, very, very few people, even professional writers, don't make that much.
He is the. I'm not gonna say best of the best, but he's damn good.
He's probably one of the best paid fantasy authors.
He is.
Like, I mean, he's not J.K. Rowling level.
No,
but
he's at the top of his league right now for like fantasy.
Yeah, he also he was talking about how much he writes a day. He's like, my average is about 3,000 words a day. Yeah. Mine, like, I was like, oh, well, I write 500.
That's his career, though.
Oh, no, I know. Yeah, he's putting all his time into
that. And he's well compensated for it.
Oh, he's sure. He's good at it.
Yeah. He is motivated.
So go ahead.
I want to tell you real quick, I finished up Warbreaker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we talked about that. Cosmo, you know what?
Yeah.
You're coming here.
So, I told you I was reading it. It's your copy.
Yeah.
So I finished it on the plane to Germany.
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna do this.
Yeah, we're sitting next to some girl from Jersey who was going to Germany, and she's just kind of looking like at the book from time to time, and I notice, and
like, hey, I'm up here.
No, so we just start talking, and she's into fantasy. Into manga, like, actually follows Naruto week to week. We had a conversation about that, and I basically recommend Warbreaker because she's checking out the cover, and then just like, what the hell is that? So I give her a brief synopsis, read the back, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna check that out. So I send her an email, a quick follow up, and
She liked it.
We have another convert.
Oh, that's so good.
She hasn't picked it up.
It's easy to convert people with good books.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to start reading... I can't get over there to read it. But it's called Guns, Germs, and Steel. Mandy's read it. But it's a book about, like, technology throughout the throughout history and how it's like totally changed the world. Like, oh, you know what, one of the greatest military
means of warfare.
Yeah, so one of the most one of the best military advancements of our entire civilization was what? The stirrup. Like, it's like, what? Yeah, wow. The stirrup. And I was like, I think that's kind of cool.
In my estimation, it's probably the nuke. Not because it's the most powerful, but because it imposes a stalemate that keeps the really, really scary shit from getting out. Mm. And by really scary shit, I mean
chemical shit.
I mean chemical. I mean biological. I mean like neutron bombs.
You mean the mutants that we know exist but aren't out yet?
No.
Okay.
So let me tell you a quick thing about neutron bombs.
Oh, okay, physicist, please tell me about this weapon that's going to keep me awake at night.
No. I will tell you about this weapon that should keep you awake at night, but won't, and then why. Okay. So, a neutron bomb is a type of nuclear weapon. Uh-huh. Instead of scattering normal ionizing radiation that fucks everything up.
Oh, is this the thing they blow up in the atmosphere and then causes like neutrinos to fucking give you cancer and kill you?
It's not neutrinos.
Okay.
It's neutrons.
It's neutrons.
So instead of irradiating things that, stay radioactive for weeks and months and years, radioactive Japan and people coming out with third arms and bullshit.
It's like clean.
So not only is it clean, it kills everything living and leaves things that are not living. So it basically...
So like structures are fine.
Exactly. So it wipes
Ghost
out...
Town.
It wipes out fucking cities, leaving the infrastructure for invading armies to just move into.
Welcome to New Tokyo.
How scary is that?
Wow, that's fucked up.
So you got that. You've got crazy biological weapons. Infectious warfare, and the nuke, because it was first and enough to wipe
get
out
the job done.
Large centers, means that we're at a stalemate. If you do this fucking scary shit, there are enough different countries with nukes
that will
aimed at various places that
Nobody's
will do you
out.
in.
Yeah.
They won't do you in the scary way, but they will do you in. So it's that threat of extinction that keeps the scary shit from getting out, and it works.
There's this horrible movie from like the 50s that my coworker was telling me about, and you might have known it, but there's basically it's like the first like post-apocalyptic movie of all time. It's like black and white. The whole premise of the movie is that nuclear winter happens, like shit blows up. The whole thing is that there's this radioactive cloud that's like covering the world and killing everyone that's around.
You said this was 50s?
I don't know the exact. I don't know. I'll tell you, and if you recognize it, then
60s, 65
maybe,
sounds about right.
Yeah, 60, 65. So it blows up. There's like this fucking nuclear dust cloud that like fucking kills everyone, except everyone in Australia. Apparently they're fine.
What is this called?
I don't know. I'll ask him tomorrow.
Right,
but they go on a submarine. Like there's like these Americans on a submarine. They're like, oh shit, like the world's destroyed, so we're gonna head off to Australia. And so everyone in Australia is like, everything's fine over here, mate. It's all good. And they get a signal. And so life's just happening in Australia. Everything's fine. And they get a signal from California saying like, hey, help us. Shit's bad. Help us. And so the people like from the submarine are like, we need to go back. So they go back.
Oh boy.
And so here's the thing. So they get back. The city's fine. There's like cars parked on the side of the street. There's no bodies. There's no nothing. And they find out that the signal's like not a thing. Like it's just like a signal that was just going on, but there's no one there anymore.
Okay.
So like, oh, we'll head back to Australia, and then they get back to Australia to find out that the fucking radiation cloud had like come to Australia, and then like it's like kind of like a Planet of the Apes ending. But I was like, but the reality is like it was at a time where like no one really had any idea what a nuclear holocaust would do. Because like that wouldn't happen.
Was it effectively scary, or
I think probably at the time it was scary. Now it's like silly.
Wait. Oh, for the most part, America is still afraid of the word nuclear.
Yeah, well, it's because it's scary. I mean, not really. It's a safer form of energy, but in some ways. But
it can be scary, but a lot of things can be scary.
True.
I mean, dumping tons of carbon from
reservoirs
in the earth into the atmosphere can be scary.
Whatever.
So yeah, man.
I think we're good. It's 24 minutes of a weekly word. What's the word?
I don't know what else I've got.
I don't really have much either.
Dunkelweiss.
Dunkelweiss. Bye, guys. Hey,
All right.
stop.
We'll see it.